Discuss about the elasticity of demand. Good morning. Today we will discuss about the elasticity of demand. In the last class, we have discussed what are the variables which are depends on the demand. So demand depends on the three parameters which we have discussed in the last class. That is price of the good, price of the product, income of the consumer, and as well as price of related goods. So similarly, what is the elasticity of demand? So there are three types of elasticity of demand. So based on the variable which you have taken is the price, income, and price of related goods. Okay, based on the variable that affects the demand, the elasticity of demand is of the three types. Price elasticity, income elasticity, and cross elasticity. So we'll discuss one by one what is meant by price elasticity, because the variable he has taken is price of the product. Elasticity is change in the quantity demanded. Okay, so the price elasticity of demand is defined as the response of the quantity demanded to change in the price of a commodity. So how the quantity demanded to the change in the price of the commodity. So that is what we can say. So quantity demanded, we can say the change in the quantity demanded is delta Q, and the change in the prices of the commodity is given as delta P. So change in the quantity. So if you look at the mathematical expression of this, so it is assumed that the consumer's income and the taste and the price of all other goods are steady. Means we are assuming that the consumer income is constant, and as well as consumer's taste is also constant, and the price of all other goods, related goods, is also constant. So keeping these assumptions in the mind, then we are defining the price elasticity of demand as the response of the quantity demanded to the change in the price of commodity. So here, if we look at this, it is measured in terms of percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price. So if you look at equation, so EP is equal to price elasticity. EP stands for price elasticity, and change in the quantity into 100 divided by original quantity, and change in the price into 100 divided by original price. So here, change in the quantity is delta Q will be taken, and the Q is the original quantity, and change in the price is taken as delta P, and original price as P. So change in the quantity divided by original quantity into original price by change in the price. So this is what the definition of the price elasticity. So mathematically, we can express in terms of delta Q by delta P into P by Q. Delta Q by delta P into Q by, P by Q. So that is in the symbolic way. And we can express this in this manner. Okay, see here, when I take the price elasticity is equal to, so change in the quantity demanded, okay, so that is delta Q by Q divided by delta P by P into 100. So where, hello? Hello, please mute yourself. Okay, so change in the quantity demanded. Say this is delta Q. What I mean to say is delta Q is the change in the quantity demanded. Okay, small change in the quantity demanded due to the change in the price. So Q is the original quantity demanded, actual how much is demanded, and what is the change in the demand due to the change in the price. That is what we can say elasticity. And then delta P is change in the small change in the price. And P is taken as original price of the product. So this can be written as delta Q by delta P into P by Q into 100. Okay, so likewise we can represent in terms of percentage. Right. So now We can go to the one more income elasticity of demand. The income elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness of the quantity demanded to a change in the consumer's income. So here the variable which I have taken income. Income is income of the consumer or income of the customer. So as the change in the customer income or income of the customer, how the quantity demand, demand is going to be changed. How the demand is going to be changed. So the income elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness, of the quantity demanded. How it is response to the quantity demanded for the change in the customer's income, that is represented as income elasticity. Which we have discussed now. In the same way fashion, we can write this. Of course, this is in terms of percentage. Okay, you can write in terms of into 100. So I can write as directly this 100 will be cancelled out, delta Q by delta P into P by Q. So okay, right. So similar to that, income elasticity can be written as income elasticity is written as change in the quantity demanded, percentage change in the quantity demanded, divided by percentage change in the income of the consumer, So here the delta Q and the Q is the same as what we have defined in the price elasticity. Here delta I is small change in the income, of consumer, small change in the income of consumer. Then I is the actual income of the consumer, original income of the consumer. We can call it as I. So here this can be written as once again delta Q by delta I into I by Q. So for a small change in the income, of a consumer, how this quantity is going to be varied. That is what we can call as income elasticity of demand. Please mute yourself. Right. Next. So cross elasticity of demand. So as we discussed in the last class, the cross elasticity is nothing but it related to the price related goods, means price of the related goods. So the product is, say for example, X, and the other product which is related to this product X is say Y. So the cross elasticity of demand, of a commodity, say X. So of a product, say for example, product is X I have taken, for another product is say Y. So the cross elasticity of demand of a product X for another product of Y, which is the change in the demand of commodity X due to the change in the price of the commodity. So here, because of the change in the price of the product Y, so there will be a change in the demand of product X. So that is what we can call as cross elasticity of demand. So the cross elasticity of demand of a commodity X means product X is there, product Y is there. So see, if there is a change in the price of the product Y, so how the quantity demanded for the product X is called as cross elasticity. So it can be written as delta Qx by Qx into delta Py by Py. So that is, it can be written as in the equation. So I have two products. That is, say product X. So product X and product Y. Okay. So here this is the product Y. Product Y is related to this product X. So if there is a change in the price of this product Y, how the quantity demanded to this product X is varies. That is what we can call it as cross elasticity. So what is the cross elasticity is for the change in the price of the product Y. So for the change in the price of the product Y, percentage change in the product, percentage of product of price of the product Y, price of the product Y. Then what is the quantity demanded? Quantity demanded for the product X. For the quantity demanded for the product X is called as cross elasticity. So this can be written as delta Qx by Qx into Py by delta Py. So here delta Qx is the nothing but change in the quantity demanded. Change in the quantity demanded. So change in quantity demanded for what product? It is product X. Product X. Qx is the original quantity demanded. Original quantity demanded for product X. For product X. And delta Py is nothing but change in the price of the product Y. See, change in the price of the product Y. And what is the original price of the Y? Original price of the product Y. Price of the product Y. So this is for the change in the product, because product X and product Y both are say related goods. So for the change in the product price of the product Y, how the quantity demanded to the product X, that is what you can call as cross elasticity. So these are the three definitions which we have discussed till now. So price elasticity, income elasticity, and cross elasticity. See here, Qx is the original demand for a product X, and delta Qx is the change in the demand for the product X, and Py is the original price of the commodity, product Y, and delta Py is the change in the price of the product Y. So this is what we can say cross elasticity. We have price elasticity is for the same product we are going to do, and price of the product, how it changes, then quantity demanded for the product, say X only. And whereas the income of the consumer, we are going to take the income of the consumer, how the quantity demand is going to be changes. And similarly here, cross elasticity is different. It depends on the two products. So price of related products, so X and Y both are related to each other. So if the change in the price of the product Y, how the how the quantity demanded in the product X, that is what we can say cross elasticity. Now, so I have a definitions. What is unit elastic and inelastic and perfectly inelastic and perfectly elastic? So unit elastic in the sense demand for a particular product is unit, means one. Means when it will become one, if the delta Q by Q is equal to delta P by P, then it will become one, right? So when the percentage change in the quantity demanded is equal to the percentage change in the price, then we can say it is unit elastic. So what he's saying is, if this unit elastic in the sense, so unit elastic is means we have delta Q by Q into delta P by P into 100, right? So here, if both quantities are equal, if this is equal to this, if the numerator and denominator is equal, then I can cancel out and I'll get 1. So that is what unit elastic. That's what elasticity of demand is 1. Elasticity of demand is 1. So price elasticity of demand is 1. So that is what you can call it as unit elastic. Unit elastic. So unit elastic is nothing but demand for a good which is unit when the percentage of change in the quantity demand is equal to the percentage of change in the price, that is called as unit elastic. So inelastic. So demand for a good is inelastic when the change in the price has a relatively small effect on the quantity of the goods demanded. Means, say for example, see if the price of the change does not affect on the quantity demanded, does not affect on the quantity demanded. So quantity demanded is same. So it is not elastic. Not elastic. Inelastic means when the percentage of change in the price does not affect on the quantity demanded. So does not affect on the quantity demanded, then we can say it is inelastic. We can say it is inelastic, right? So here demand for a good which is inelastic when the change in the price has a relatively small effect, means very minute means, say for example, if there is a change in the price of a particular product, say from X to Y, so the quantity demanded is Q1 to Q2, but Q2 is very near. So Q1, say for example, +1 or +2. Q1 +1 or Q1 +2 will be the Q2. That is what you can call as a relatively small effect on the quantity of the good demanded. That is, we can say inelastic. That is, we can say inelastic. So similarly, a price equal to 0, a price elasticity of demand. So if you look at this, price elasticity of demand is equal to 0. Price elasticity of demand, which you can say delta Q by Q divided by delta P by P. So when it will become 0, in the sense this change in the quantity demanded does not change. So the quantity demanded, so the quantity demanded for the change in the price. So however the change in the price, the quantity demanded is same. The see, here is the, say for example, price is X, and here is, say, the price is Y. So for this, at this price Px, the quantity demand is Q only, and for this price Py, then it is also Q. So for the change in the price Px to Py, Pvx to Py, so the quantity demanded is Q minus Q. So change in the Q. So this will become 0. This will become 0. So that is which you can call it as perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic. So perfectly inelastic demand. Perfectly inelastic means which does not change. Elastic means which changes. Inelastic means which does not change. So price elasticity of demand is equal to 0. Indicates that perfectly inelastic means for any change in the price, from Px to Py, the quantity demanded is 0. See here the constant line, I have drawn a parallel line to the price line, so or x-axis. So if you draw like this, it's at any even Pz, if you calculate, the quantity demand is same. So for any change in the price, this delta Q is 0. Delta Q is 0 because there is no change in the quantity demanded. Then it is called as perfectly price inelastic demand. Perfectly price inelastic demand. So when the price elasticity is 0, perfectly inelastic demand we can call it as. This means that the demand for a good or a product does not change in response to the price. Similarly, demand is said to be perfectly elastic. It is, I mean, the price of elasticity of demand is equal to the infinity. When it will become infinity, see, if there is no change in the price, say this is the price of a particular product X, okay, and this is the quantity demanded, and so there is a constant price of the product. But the demand is varying. So demand is varying. See, at this particular point it is Q1, at this particular point Q2. So even the price does not change here. So if I take the price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand, EP, so we have the equation delta Q by delta P by P. So when you take the P1, so P1 at Q1 and P2, so P1 is equal to P2 here because it is a constant price. So when the P1 is equal to P2, if there is a change in the price, P1 minus P2 by P1. So original price is P1. So if you look at this, P1 is equal to P2, so this denominator will become 0. This whole denominator will become 0. So EP is delta Q by 0. So something by 0, it will become infinite. So this is called perfectly elastic demand. This is called as perfectly elastic. So demand is said to be perfectly elastic when the price elasticity of demands is equal to the infinity. So when the demand is perfectly elastic, buyers will only buy at one price and no other price. Means only at a constant price. See, the buyers are going to buy the product at this particular price only. Only one price, and no other price is allowed because there is no change in the price. So these are the different elasticity of demand and price elasticity, and unit elastic, what is inelastic and what is perfectly inelastic demand and perfectly elastic demand. So here I have talked perfectly inelastic demand. So in this case, E is 0. So here I'm going to get the E is equal to infinity in this case. So here has taken the price as the y-axis and Q as the x-axis, because the price is the variable. Price is the variable which is taken as on the y-axis, right? So now, factors influencing the elasticity of demand. So what are the factors which influence the elasticity of demand? So there are different domains. As we told, that elasticity of demand is nothing but for the change in the price, what is the change in the quantity demanded? So that is what we can say elasticity of demand. So what are the factors which influence the elasticity of demand? So there are 4 factors which you can say. Availability of substitutes. Substitute in the sense there is a product which can be replace that particular product. So substitute the demand of a commodity which you can say elastic. No, if it has the if it is having the substitutes, we can say the demand for a particular product is to be elastic. Okay, so if you take the example in this case, a small increase in the price of say railway tickets will result in the fairly higher than the proportionate fall in the demand, because the presence of alternative mode of transport, we can have the buses. So there is a substitute for the railway transport. We have the road transport. So that is what we can call as availability of substitute. So if there is a change in the price or increase in the price in the railway tickets, then the public will choose the buses to because the alternative we have. So that is what we can say availability of substitutes. So nature of commodity. So we can say nature of commodity, the demand for luxurious items is said to be elastic, because luxurious items are change in the price, there will be a huge change in the quantity demanded also. So whereas the demand for that essential items or daily needs is said to be inelastic, because daily needs, even though there is a change in the price, we need to buy that particular product because we need it in a daily basis. So in other words, we can say the small change in the price of luxury items, it brings the large fluctuations in the demand, because the luxury items are if there is a change in the price, then the buying capability will become changes, or quantity demand will become changes. And say for example, essential commodities like milk, salt, and all those, which will not cause any major fluctuation in its demand, because daily use. So even though there is a change in the price, we are going to buy that milk and salt and all those, right? So that is what we can say perfectly inelastic. So this is because essential commodities are bought anyway by almost all the people, keeping in the mind that demand fluctuation is very minimum. So that is what nature of the commodity. And also one more is price of commodity. As we know that price of commodity is influence the elasticity of demand. So the demand is said to be elastic for products which is higher the prices, whereas the inelastic, for products which are priced low. So products like TV, refrigerators, and computers and all those are elastic, because where there is a change in the price, then there will be a change in the demand. Whereas which are very daily common in nature, routine, which are using like toothpaste or like milk, like whatever use for consumption. So that there is a change in the price, so there is no change in the quantity demanded. So that is inelastic in nature. So there are 2 kinds, okay, price of commodity. So some of the commodities, there is increase in the price, then there will be a change in the quantity demanded. For the daily, essentials, if essential products or essential commodities which are in the we are going to use in the routine nature, that if there is change in the price of that particular product, then there is no change in the elasticity of that particular product. And range of commodity use, of course, here the wide range of uses of the product, higher is the elasticity of the demand for decrease in the price. So elasticity of demand is high when there is a change in the price. So for example, if you take that, we know that milk can be used for multi-use commodity. Milk can be used for making curd and making ghee, making cheese, and many products. That is what we can call as range of product use or commodity use. So that commodity can be used in a wide ranges. So we can, from the milk we can make curd, from the milk we can make cheese, or from the milk we can make the ghee. So we have the different command. So it has a elastic demand for a decrease in the prices. So it has the elastic demand in the sense which has the change in the quantity demanded will be high. Change in the quantity demanded will be high. So these are the factors which influence the elasticity of demand. So what is elasticity of supply? Similarly, elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply can be defined as it is the rate at which the supply of commodity changes with respect to change in its price. So the producer, how much the quantity has to be supplied for the change in its price, that is what you can call it as elasticity of supply. So it is also represented in the form of percentage change in the quantity supplied as a result of 1% change in its price of the commodity. So what are the factors which influence the elasticity of supply? So if you look at this, there are 4 factors which are influencing this nature of commodity. So nature of commodity in the sense the commodity will be, say for example, perishable commodities and durable commodities. Perishable like vegetable, fruits and all, perishable food items and all will be perishable commodities which are less elastic, in nature. And durable commodities like somehow comparatively this perishable, so durable commodities will be more elastic. And capital supply, of course, in the short run it is called as a inelastic, and in the long run it is called as elastic. So now supply of labor. So supply of labor, of course, skilled labor is elastic because there will be change in the demand, change in the price. So there will be a quantity supplied will be high. So skilled labor is elastic, elasticity of supply, and unskilled labor is inelastic because there is no change in the quantity supplied. And scale of production, of course, small scale productions are can say it is inelastic because there is change in the price. So the quantity supplied will be not much changes. Okay, but large scale production there is a change in the quantity supplied will be high. So that's why it is elastic. So large scale production is more elastic, whereas the small scale industries are less elastic or inelastic, we can say. So these are the 4 factors which are going to be on the influence of elasticity of supply. And we'll go to one problem on this. We take one problem on this so that we can close. Yeah. A product has demand, say for example, a product has demand of 3000 units, when priced at 100 rupees, rupees 100 per unit. Okay, rupees 100 per unit. And when the price is reduced, means there is a change in the price. When the price is reduced, at rupees 80 per unit, means 20 rupees is change in the price, right? So the sales increases to 3,800 units. So the quantity demanded is increased because of the reduction in the price. That is what you can say, law of demand, right? So now find, first one is find whether the demand is elastic or inelastic. Second one is we need to find at what quantity of sales, can the demand be called elastic or inelastic. So these are the 2 things which you need to find out. So here we'll write the data first, what is given. Okay, based on that we'll solve this. So given data is the original quantity demanded, that is I can say it is Q is 3000 units. This is the original quantity demanded. So what is the original price of the product? It is rupees 100. So what is the change? That is delta Q is nothing but original quantity, that is Q1 minus Q2. So right, 3800 minus 3000, which is equal to 800. Whereas delta P, so there is a price change from 100 to 80. So reduction in the price is rupees 20. So I got delta P and as well as delta Q. So I can get the first one. EP is equal to, we have the equation what? Delta Q by Q divided by delta P by P. R is equal to delta Q by delta P into P by Q. So by substituting this in this equation, that is delta Q is 800 divided by delta P is 20 into P is 100 divided by, so Q is 3000. Q is 3000. So I'll cancel out 4 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, and 3 zeros and 3 zeros. 2 ones are, 2 fours are. So I'll be getting 4 by 3. 4 by 3 is 1.33, right? 1.33. So EP is what? EP is greater than 1, means the quantity demanded is more than the change in the price. EP is greater than 1 in the sense delta Q by Q is greater than delta P by P. For the change in the price, there will be a more change in the quantity demanded. So it is said to be very elastic. Okay, elastic. So because there is a small change in the price, there will be a huge change in the quantity demanded. So we can say it is elastic. So now second question is asking, so at what quantity of sales can the demand be called as elastic or inelastic? So if I want to say this quantity, at what quantity it should be called as elastic or inelastic, means EP is equal to 1. EP is equal to 1. So if I want to make the EP is equal to 1, what is the quantity demanded? That is Q need to be calculated. So EP is equal to 1. From the same equation, EP is equal to delta Q by delta P into P by Q. So Q is unknown here. So Q is unknown here. Okay. So I need to find out. This implies EP is equal to 1. Change in the quantity demanded is 800. And the change in the price is same, that is delta P is 20 and P is the 100 and is asking for Q. So from this 20Q is equal to 80,000. Okay, 80,000. So from this I can get Q is, from this 20Q is equal to 80,000. So Q is equal to 80,000 by 20. So which I can take it as 4,000. So if I demand, the quantity demanded is 4,000. If the quantity demand is 4,000, then it will become elastic. That is EP is equal to 1. Unit elastic. It will become as unit elastic. Okay. So that is what we can discuss in here. And today we'll stop here. Please answer your attendance.